and welcome to another edition of the program Good Morning Saloon. We come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM, and we will bring you this edition of the program Good Morning Saloon. Musa Kamarana Minim.
And Mina Khadija Bangura, good morning. Inside the program this Tuesday morning, political party them and self the public go assess how they see the standard of living as Salon for people during President Bio in 5 years in office. If people can remember, last week, Radio Democracy been start for look at different sector them as we continue for assess President Bio in 5 years in office. Last week, we look at human rights and democracy. Today, in the program, we look at the standard of living for citizens them na Salon during President Bio in 5 years in office. Well, for can look at this topic and self-assess how Salon people don't they live. Now, the studio this morning, we get Honorable Abdul Kargbo from constituency 077 and in a NAC member na the All People's Congress APC party, when a one party main opposition party them, and Sef na member na the communications department for the party. Good morning, Honorable, and welcome to the program Good Morning Salon.
Good morning, Kajija. Good morning, 98.1. Good morning, me people in a salon.
We get with we also in the studio Thomas Dixon, in a journalist, and most them he can comment on issues them we get for do with national interest or public affairs issues them. And don't they give your commentary as journalist. Good morning, Dixon, and welcome to the program Good Morning Salon.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
And also, people want to announce, say, would they expect the National Publicity Secretary for the ruling SLPP party, we na Lahai Leema, we just joined with na the studios this morning. Good morning, Lahai Leema, and welcome to the program Good Morning Saloon.
Good morning, Karija. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, the topic today we look at, we assess the standard of living for citizens them during President Bio in 5 years in office. Inside 2018, Salon people have been votes for the president, Dr. Julius Maada Bio, and gave him a mandate of 5 years. And before the election, the president's been share a manifesto with Salon people them. Also, he put things them where he tells Salon people, let's say, if them vote for him, it will make sure say he able to give them some of them basic things then they. And among them things then they, one pan they highlight them of the new direction manifesto, now the one we get for do with the standard of living. Also, I talk about the bread and butter and other issues them. Almost 5 years down the line, Radio Democracy, they come back and look at some of them things and they waiting the president don't able to achieve when campaign the standard of living for Salon people. Well, for lady premise, we start with Lahai Leema as they represent the ruling Salon People's Party for give a status report to Salon people waiting the SLPP government able for do 5 years along the line in terms of standard of living, waiting and talk about the new direction manifesto. Lahai Leema.
Yes, Karija. Good morning again, listeners. When we talk of standard of living here, not necessarily limited to bread and butter. As a party, before we come to power, we do a diagnosis of what's been prevalent at that material time. So I make we manifesto actually been localized. We go around and try for survey, waiting have been the things that will be the Hamburg, the people there. So when we capture that in our manifesto, the president, by the grace of God, with the elect him, he come into office with focus. Given the fact, say, we don't come at the time we, of course, the economy being there in downtown, and at the same time, most of the essential services themselves, they make people's life improve, instead being there in shambles. At the time, we people picking themselves for seat NPSs until you get 3 picking them to 1 question paper. Examination malpractice been there in the reef. The confidence in the educational system be don't drop drastically. At the same time, corruption be there in the increase, even in terms of government projects them. The economy will be the boom, it actually decline. So northern states then they we come meet this country. Even at the time we get a lot of ghost workers, you get a lot of people who work in the health sector without PIN code, who are not properly put on payroll, people and they wait and they double dip. Now then situations and they will meet. So with all of those, and the country also be over reliant on the mining sector, where it means say where we get Ebola, the shock, not able for manage them. So we come in our office at the time where the presidency say we need for diversify our economy and at the same time deepen human capital development. Because when you diversify your economy, any shock will come, you go able for manage them. When we come out in our office at the time where we feel say the economy been there in downturn, we come up with very good policies measures, economic policy measures, then we able for help we for even roll out a flagship program in 3 months' time, and we are able for also gain donor confidence in we economic activities and government able for roll out programs then. Now, after we don't achieve them one day, the human capital development we talk about, the president focus and make sure say, first of all, he try for like separate the educational system itself from that of the primary, pre-primary, and secondary. That is the basic aspect from the tertiary aspect for able to get efficiency in the sector. We also don't try for diversify the economy in terms of boosting tourism, fisheries, and agriculture. After we will begin for record growth by 5.3% in the first one year. Shortly after that, the Ebola struck, and we actually try for do a policy shift in terms of how government expenditure to go. We begin, instead of putting money now into development programs, government begin to try for address emergency issues and see how best even it will get the economy for flow, especially with the SMEs and also the business people there. We also see the pandemic because of lockdown, how much it affects the world because of the lockdown and they across the world, and Sierra Leone not being any exception. Shortly after all the fees say the pandemic self the subside, we also face the global crisis we got for do with the Ukraine and Russia. But with all of these, the management strategy of this government in trying for ensure say we able to get goods them, especially essential commodities in the market, and even with to picking them where they go school, pay fees for them picking, and they take that burden from the parents them, provide vehicles we go able for take them picking them to their house so that to their houses them so that they go able for get better time for study. At the same time, increase energy supply from 16 to 40%. This also help for make the picking able for get time even at night for let them able for grab for study. And also, we don't see the many queues that will be done. They see during the drives for water. I'm not saying not deal, but we not see much of that again as it be done. They happen because what in government don't do aside of the areas that wouldn't able to forget water, they don't increase bowsers them where they take water in communities them we actually not get pipe running. So we also look into the traffic systems. Even when the city they clog with traffic, human congestions, we see how the Hill Bypass Road, the government just don't complete that. We're not able for help also if you take too many times from Eastern Police to Upgon. Now you can take that bypass where it take you easily to the eastern part of Freetown. All of them things the our government they do now for reduce the burden on the people, then for able for improve on their life, then thinking skills, able for go about finding the livelihood. Now see recently waiting the even happen at Wilberforce, because for minimize the road traffic accident on pedestrians, the government also don't take up the responsibility for all do and overhead for the pedestrians where they cross the road. All of them things and the government they do, they improve on the livelihood of we people them. We see how government allocates about 11% of the national revenue to the health sector for also improve on we health services in this country. That is from 6% to 11%. And we also don't see innovations in the health sector itself, which I will get mobile health services to about 12 districts in this country. We're able to attend to about 12,000 patients them. We also don't see improvement also in some of the health areas in terms of even diagnosing cervical cancers and also getting operationalized dialysis facilities in this country. So even with the health sector, we are not there yet, but gradually we are making progress. So with all of them marks and they way this government are able to achieve, where they in line with the president vision as at the time where it take up office, this na huge score where it will try for minimize the burden where if we don't cause for the people them if we not being get a better management skills, a leader will get a better management skills for run the country at a time like this when the crisis is all over the world, and Sierra Leone being no exception where it affects we, especially when we na an economy where they grapple, and we also not even get that kind of raw material where we the export we're a net importing driven country where we over reliant on waiting the common outside world for like we able for manage the economy.
Okay, thank you very much. Continue for stay with me inside the program. We get pardon. In name na Lahai Leema, in the National Publicity Secretary for the Salone People's Party, and inside the edition of the program Good Morning Salone, we will look at living condition under President Bio in 4 years plus rule.
We get Lahai Leema, the National Publicity Secretary for the Salone People's Party, and Honorable Abdul Kargbo, we Nanak member from the All People's Congress and self-a part of the communications team, and Thomas Dixon, a journalist. Today in the program, we look at standards of living for the citizens them during President Bio in tenure as president, as they round up now in 5 years in office. We all listen to the premise where Lahai Leema, where they represent the ruling government stomach, where they come out to the main opposition party, when the APC party, Honorable Abdul Kargbo. You don't listen to Lahai Leema as he unpack some of the things them where the government's able for do within the 5 years for ensure say the citizens then get good standard of living. From una own perspective as an opposition party, how una can assess the standard of living for citizens them during President Bio in tenure as it completes now in 5 years in office?
Well, interestingly, most of the one they wait in our government, based on the money we then they get and salary and all, they're not the feel within the ordinary Sierra Leonean the feel. So then perception about the standard of living is quite different from if you go ask whether they not treat. When the minister they talking measure say, well, limit corruption, this, that, and I want to make some clarification. Let we go into the audit reports and see the amount of money them where they lost, money that way they not they account for. In 2015, when I be APC term, now 65.4 billion. In 2016, when I APC term, now been 75.5 billion. In 2017, when I APC term, now been 37.2 billion. If you add all the 3 years, then they win APC term. The money we lost, it total to 178.1 billion for 3 years. Just in 1 year, 2021, this government lost 178 billion, 187.3 billion. We beat the 3 years of APC joints together. Now in this government loss. And it go interest you for not say, more APC people don't go answer na ACC for this money we lost na this period than the one that we go answer for this 187.3 billion we lost this very year. So if we talk about corruption, we talk about unaccounted money, I feel say this government is top notch for everything. But quite apart from that, I just touched on there because the minister make mention about corruption. You say a lot talk about the standard of living. Very recently, we get what we call the 2022 Global Hunger Index. Then just released recently. And they assess 121 countries. Sierra Leone can 112. Most of the countries that will beat, now countries that were in war. So it tell you, say, the level of hunger in this country is very unprecedented and very alarming. And I tell you, in 2018, what we the left power? Inflation now been 14.91%. 2018, what we the left power? Right now, where they talk to you, inflation is 38.48%. We know one day upon a salon. For the first time in the history of this country, we get a government in Guinea. We get good economic policy, fiscal policy than the government na salon. This na the first thing, the Guinea money, it kitchen beat salon. This na the first thing. Even if you go even to the external debt of Guinea, you find out say Guinea get prudent financial management than Sierra Leone when a military government now they rule Guinea. Yeah. Now, Lord, we look at some of the basics. Before I go for that, Lord, look at some of the basics. When this government came in 2018, they meet one bag rest 200,000. As I talk to you now, almost 5 years, they don't raise them up to 650,000. So in 5 years, then, there is 225% increment in the price of bag of rice. We're not the staple food. Yeah? Me, an engineer, I do some calculations. I do what I call the average annual increment in the price of bag of rice. So when you look, say, they don't raise them from 200 to 650,000. You check them by year. It means, say, for every year, the SLPP, they add 90,000 leons per bag of rice. 90,000 leons per bag of rice. So meaning, if rice they right now, 650,000, then you give the other 5 years, then continue for add this 90,000, 90,000. Rest go 1,100,000 under SLPP. Because they not get good fiscal policies. They not get prudent financial management. This now the first government where they can then change money. The money where they change, they left the old one and say we stop for user, and they not even stop for user. Up to now the old one they run. And ask them how much they go use for print money. Billions of loans now they spend for print money. Guinea no ever change their money. But their economy is far better than ours. That's how you see, then get people the way able to control the economy. Let's tell you, most of the alala way then they make say na global, Ukraine. No, not to Ukraine. No. La go into some data. Yeah? La go to Guinea. I they use Guinea, I they use Ivory Coast, I they use Liberia. Now all in at the Man River Union. Yeah? Guinea in 2020, then growth rate, they estimate them for be 7%. Yeah? Then Guinea, then public debt. Now 43.3% of the GDP. So you find out, say, even at worst, the external debt, no past 50% of the GDP, 43.3%. The inflation rate na Guinea, as I talk now, 12%. You go to Cote d'Ivoire, the inflation rate now 4.2%. You see? And the public debt now 50% of the GDP. Sierra Leone, we public debt is over 95% of we GDP. Yeah? And where country they trust, now for letting citizens them better. Now for let provide basic amenities for your citizens them. But this government not the one. Let I tell you, where they can have power, palm oil, this oil for gallon, now be 170,000 for gallon, one batter. Just in 5 years, in less than 5 years, they raise them up to 560,000. When a 241% increment. So meaning, where do the average annual increment? It means say every year, then they add 78 leons per oil in price. Yeah? So if we left SLPP for another 5 years, then still they add 78 leons, we go begin buy oil 950,000 leons. Now we go again to basic cookery. Not to the one at restaurant too. That basic cookery sometimes fish chef no go did it. 2018, we people them in the band 3,000 leons for plate. 3,000. And the man there would go sit down na cookery bar for 3,000. Now you check 15,000 for plate. So meaning from 2018 to now, they don't add 400% now the price of basic cookery and normal cookery. 400%. I do average annual increment in the price of cookery. It shows say for every year, then they add 2,400 per the price of cookery. So if we left SLPP for another 5 years, then they begin buy cookery 27,000 news for one plate. So the young man the way they dance in the street, where they sing in the street, if they use them, not a person get for go buy cookery for them. Not a person get for go buy cookery for them. So these are the most difficult financial circumstances this country don't ever face since independence. The microeconomic data, they're all appalling. They're all discouraging. But this na the first day they see bank governor, they pull money in a bank, reserve in a bank dollar, they go sell on the street. They go auction am. Because they don't know say not to auction of dollars, they calm down with the exchange rate. They don't know say na foreign direct investment, then they calm down with the exchange rate. You see, so the economic policies now, interestingly, palm wine, na salon and they produce am. Yeah, palm wine na salon and they produce am, na salon and they process everything. For the first time in the history of salon, we left palm wine 120,000. Remember, oil we left from 170,000. We left palm wine 120,000, and palm wine was cheaper than oil. Will be the left power. Right now, palm wine, ordinary palm wine now 650,000. There has been 442% increment. And if SLPP continue for dinner power, then they buy 1,180,000 for butter. I will tell you why make palm wine go up shortly.
All right, Honorable. Just so una know, we produce and in the time una 10 minutes each for una make una case them. Well, the program na Good Morning Salon. We continue the program and the time from studio clock now na 8:15.
The program na Good Morning Salon, we come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. You will listen to Honorable Abdul Kargbo from constituency 077 and also a member of the APC communication team for the 2023 election. And before that, you've been listening to Lahai Leema and the National Publicity Secretary for the Salon People's Party. Today, inside the program, we look at the living condition of Salon people under President Bio in regime. And inside the program, we get Thomas Dixon, a journalist and social commentator on national issues. Thomas Dixon, you don't listen to the politicians on the living condition of Australians under President Bio in reign. As a journalist and social commentator, what you can talk about the living condition and standard of Australians at this moment?
I think the living condition and standard of living of Australians is getting worse each and every day. I don't want to go into the politician and talk about cookery because we don't see politician and before now they talk about a plate of cookery, hoping that when they come, then go change the plate of cookery or the cost of cookery not happen. But the situation is very, very worse, and for the layman down there get what they eat, it's very difficult for even government workers. They are being paid from government coffers for let them able for meet expenditure needs. It's very, very difficult. And I want for also say the economy start for fail, or the standard of living start for depreciate even before the COVID and the Russian-Ukraine war. However, you no go remove the COVID and Russian-Ukraine war from the current predicament we will deepen, because it's not only affecting Sierra Leone, it's affecting other countries. You look at with currency, we get one of the weakest currency in the world. Currency don't depreciate to almost 40%, and we are not think we do enough for what they call we currency. And if you look at the maiden address of President Bio na Parliament in May 2018, he been tell the people of this country for that he go rebuild, revamp the economy of this country. But we not see that yet. He also tell the people of this country that he go reduce the wage bill. Rather, we see an increase in the wage bill. In fact, in the last appropriation bill presented to Parliament by the Minister of Finance, let me say former Minister of Finance, Dennis Vandy, he say apart from the global issues, the size of government also they affect the economy of Sierra Leone. Let's take for instance in State House, where you have a communication manager, a communication consultant, a communication this, about 5 people handling communication. You have the Ministry of Information doing duplicating the same work, and so many other offices where you go say not important. And will be this government been promised the people of this country that then go reduce wage bill. Rather, we don't see an increase in wage bill. Partly then go say, okay, wage bill will increase because we don't employ more teachers, we don't employ more nurses. But again, there are many, many government offices that have been created over the years. And you look at the prices of commodity also don't sharply increase from outside the Mindi. And this government promised the people of a better living. I remember just like our Honorable Sidona, where the former Minister of Finance, now Chief Minister Jacob Jusu Safa, been the talk. Now so he been the talk. See how the plate of cookie, he don't turn this, the plate of this don't costy, and we will come go reduce them in 6 months, and that has not happened. So in my analysis, I believe say we country they in a very, very serious economic situation. And according to the recent World Bank economic update, they say Sierra Leone they in a high debt risk, meaning with debt the world don't take in this country is at a risky point. And that not they reflect on the standard of living of the ordinary Sierra Leonean. So my brother Lahai and Leema talked about increased energy supply. Yes, we've seen 36% from 15% to 36% increase on paper, but we've not seen that in reality. Look at Freetown, for example. Freetown, they experience so many epileptic supply of electricity. Sometimes some homes they go weeks without electricity supply. He talked about water. I will tell him, say, the water sector, there has been no improvement so far in the water sector. You go to areas there, you go see people, and maybe outside they win a minister, then they go supply them. But there are areas where people, a lot of areas in Freetown where people are struggling to get water. And the honorable member of parliament talked about audit and ACC. I think from 2015 to date, we audit reports then don't remain for be alarming. They don't remain for be alarming. The past 5 years, where you put all the money that we don't auditor allege say they don't missing or they don't misappropriate, it's up to 500 billion euros. It's up to 500 billion euros from 2018 to date. And would they see government not they take any action for able for recover those stolen money? Or are we waiting for government to change hands for let's get another commission of inquiry? We should be seen, government should be seen taking action. I talk about the ACC. For me, I think the ACC then work on the audit. It's like a showbooting, wherein they can no more for car make like say then they do work and they do nothing. Even Parliament, I think Honorable Lady Naya, and then get that responsibility. From 2018 to date, they've not debated any of the audit report, and what I think say IBAD. And there is a parliamentary account committee, public account committee for able for call government agencies. They for can explain. We found one thing. We've not seen that for the past 4 years, and which we don't know what thing they happen at all. We can also see after audit report, Ministry of Finance they come with some things that they say they don't put in place. But the other year, when audit report come out, the money where they lost, they worsen. And this not get for do with one party. It has been the issue since 2015. Year in, year out, to get the same recommendations, same issues, and these things they affect the economy. And I want to also say where this one of the reasons why make the economy this so is it got to do with the way the government handle some of the multinational investors, them like SL Mining. That issue not be handled properly. But we thank, as time progress, we see wisdom prevail. People and somebody came in and say, no, we cannot fight these people. Let's allow them to operate. And eventually they allow them to operate. Imagine if SL Mining don't they operate from 20. We know, say, okay, we all aware, see some agreement, mining agreement them in 2018. They were all rushed through parliament. But there are ways where government go handle transition. You no go just say because I don't kind of power, not to me approve, not to we parliament approve this, we remove una. No, that also gets an effect on the economy. So I think in all of these things, we see say the ordinary man, the suffer, and the level of poverty don't increase nas alone past how it been day 2018.
All right, Dixon, you don't exceed your first set of 10 minutes. We continue the program. We'll take music. We'll come back. We'll continue with the studio guest them.
And the sound sensation. Come from run the nation. Check yourself.
Now who's them will get the right man on the right place, huh?
We're talking about reality this time. Youth man, face reality.
1, 2, they want make me talk fool. 3, 4, when most of we want. Some saying on this, some saying on that, some saying on the one that with the rule we are.
Now me say sing again.
1, 2, they want make me talk fool. 3, 4, when most of we want. Some saying on this, some saying on that, some saying on the way with the men we are. If she's all approaching you, for such for me anyway, for paying love and loyalty to his sweet salon. So tell me why you still do that thing, but you know see no they else sweet salon for gold. Tell me why you descend out in the street for make salon not here, don't go with buckle disease. Tell me why you they build on a land, where you know see them a give you permit for bill. Tell me how you want to see salon, where you they people put the right man at the right place. Tell me how sweet salon for gold, you they working on the people pay you income tax. The poor man still is draining pain, then they eat and forget to know we all for ships. Some say no this, some say no that, some just say no the one they want the rule we are. 1, 2, they want make me talk fool. 3, 4, when most of we want. Some say no this, some say no that, some say no the one they want the rule we are.
Now me say sing again.
1, 2, they want make me talk fool. 3, 4, when most of we want. Some say no this, some say no that, some say no the way with the men we are.
Right, we continue with the program. Good morning, Salon. We hope so you enjoy that music day. Where Obelix crew do for we na the program and then title last song they face reality. Well, we continue the program today with the assess President Bio as in the 5 years in office, how the standard of living don't talk for citizens them. We don't talk to we studio guest them, Lahai Leema, we na the National Publicity Secretary for the ruling SLPP government. We talk to Honorable Abdul Kargbo, na NAC member from the main opposition APC party and Sef na the communications unit. We get a social commentator, we Sef na journalist, Thomas Dixon, in Sef we don't talk to him. Well, Radio Democracy been go talk to the ordinary citizens in na different partner Freetown. Now this thing gets for say, but the standard of living as President Bio the 5 years in office.
Well, the condition of living in the country, in my own perspective, as you say, it's tedious to some extent. Tedious in the sense where you check the transport fare compared to waiting and the pay we in the country. It's very, very incomparable because we imagine and they pay somebody 500,000 or 1 million. But the transport we pay maybe for the day go up to 20,000 leons or so. Even the prices of food commodities, the price of food commodities don't so skyrocket.
Even though we price the hike on them food commodities there, they make sure say they pay subsidies them again for their food stuff there. For make sure say many people them get them because we don't they see other countries them they suffer for get access to their food. But here in Sierra Leone, the accessibility is people them they get them at every given time when you want food. Now the country they get them. The government don't do so much for make sure say the people them get access to them food stuff there because accessibility, as I can say, now any country so far where people then get access to things them, especially food commodities them, I feel say a good. So government of Sierra Leone don't do very good job in that area. Therefore, make sure say the people then get access to them food commodities there.
Well, to me, the living condition, things are very difficult. Then they are not going to lie, devoid of politics or what. Like what they get today, it's not happening. At least for feed my family, get basic things they normal for myself. it's very, very difficult. That I will not hide, especially with the prices of commodities. They go higher every now and then. And even in my own family and even friends, they were the meet with and people them around. It's just the same thing. Then they complain, say things are very, very difficult. Because things are very difficult. Rice now 600,000 per bag. Very difficult. Per mine now don't dare.
Yeah, I tell you, thank you, understand me. We know CS system, it didn't change because of the global crisis, understand me, and the Ukraine war. So you compare to other countries like Nigeria and big parts of the economy, they to life for petrol, to life for all things. But we tell God, thank you, now we not to line. God help we able to solve her. You get me? What you prepare now for? The way rock out tomorrow, so right now they are working at tomorrow machine. They are process for all the get we rest for suffer. If that they be, problem not solve for we. To me, I tell God thank you. I need to work. I be going to see, but I'm not going to see again. I'm not going to beg to nobody. But at least why they make the effort, God give me to it. You know, go so fully and fully for go to and get to what you government do for what you do for yourself first. What you do for this country here? The other America, I mean, I see my don't go send it. If you not support the game money, you understand me? You as a young man, when you learn work or you learn skill, you educate yourself, you go to survive. But tell me to go school and work. You go to and get some more kush. I want to survive. It's not correct. As a young man, you bring me for work.
Okay, that's now some citizens them we Radio Democracy talk to on the topic at hand. We now the living condition of Sierra Leoneans them under President Bio in regime, and we don't, as my colleague rightly mentioned, we don't talk to we panelists them. If you just join we get Lahai Leema, National Publicity Secretary for the Salon People's Party. And also we get Honorable Abdul Kargbo from constituency 077 na Kargbo Kingdom, and also member na the PR team for the All People's Congress APC party for the 2023 election, and Thomas Dixon, a journalist and social commentator. I come to you, Lahai Leema. You don't get from you co-panelists them, and also you don't get from the citizens them. One thing from just the clip we play now that things are accessible, but then very expensive with in the affordability. What the governments they do about things like this, and within now the government in the assessment of the things they are so where they happen.
What I appreciate now the fact that even the public align with me balanced analysis of the current situation. So we as a government not ever feel too proud to say we have achieved all, and we always do acknowledge the fact that things are difficult. From the president to we always get time for talk or for expound on what it say. We have all said it. That we all acknowledge that, say things are difficult and we make effort. And the president, they inspire the leadership for make we able for work collectively, like we able for attain that level where my brother Abdul Kargbo is on the Adma Guinea, where Alpha Conde don't inspired. Today, as a country, most of the commodities they would get them from Guinea. Now make if Guinea shake by we small, we they confuse. And Guinea not too extraordinary from we. The same, most of the things they would get from another agriculture work here, what they do. But we decide for like even get with people that are more into the city center here for involving into politics, then we encourage them for let them go back and see the need for engaging agriculture. So the president they inspire the people and for let them see the need for let we utilize we land. And so far this government are able to achieve that because we don't even get a lot of private investment in the agriculture sector. We of course that they show say would build the future for let the economy of this country go be resilient in an event we get any difficult times, because the moment we begin produce in abundance where it get surplus where we'll be able to send other countries, and then that could able to help with foreign currencies where we'll be able to get we go improve the livelihood. Now in terms of increase of prices, what we all know now the fact say the dollar actually don't increase because of the dollar don't become value over the loans. Not just we own loans, but even in other countries, then we don't engage in any export activities. With crisis in the world and the dollar, they become more value. If they find out, say, the loans we'll get, it will be of nothing because we don't get natural the pool. So now it make we self the try for work very hard. Let we self begin to produce, which will send with the earn with dollars. Now, also, if you look at the mining agreement, this country, where this government don't do with SL mining, the review of the mining agreement with SL Mining and this government or this country a better proceeds than before. At the same time, this government don't do well in terms of implementing the audit report than the APC government. I see my brother Abdul, they play with the things, the people are emotions. But I think the public, without even saying much, the public says they don't tell us, yes, we agreed that things are difficult, but we self get for make effort from what we get from the public. And so now that make in government, we they inspire, the president, they provide that inspirational leadership for make people see the need, say, not only government get for do that, but we all collectively get for achieve, for change with country in narrative, especially on the economy.
Leema,
Yes, Adena government, Khadija, I'll just conclude on this. Adena government, Abdul Dena government, will they get salary. But I tell you for free, we equally so much the feel waiting the ordinary man the feel. You understand, eh? Because in as much as I get 20,000 leons for a month, but I equally get people that would not work, where they look up to waiting at the get, and they feel the same thing where they feel in the market. So it they on me for make sure say we work very hard for improve on that situation, so that we all go be happy, we go live happily with the little meager what they get. Now, what in government don't do also for take some of them burden on the people, and then one and they be established. Imagine if all of what you don't say the more at the people, then the people then go for pay school fees as well. Then beginning they go to school, they're not able for afford lunch, they not get chop for eating at school, they not get textbook for read, they not get light for study. And I think say if we don't worsen than any other thing. Now we not meet nothing, we meet the economy, in almost in collapsing shit. But at the end of the day, we also we inherit austerity. So basically, now we get for come manage that austerity and still roll out government programs. And as I speak to you as a date, we know they pay salaries or roll out government programs from any bank overdraft.
Leema.
Government is able to generate revenue for make sure say we run government programs there.
Leema, quickly,
Yes,
you just
Khadija.
make mention, say, on inherit austerity, on meet the economy almost the collapse. Almost 5 years now in governance, presently, with how things stay. You listen to statistics where Honorable Abdul Kargbo, if you want for ignore your statistics, but with the current things, them, the way how prices they go up, and how the exchange rate as of yesterday, dollar na 2,080,000. How you go describe the current state, how people they live in Salon?
Khadija, I think I don't state Dandy. I don't state I'm very clearly here say, in as much as the dollar is the value, Sierra Leone not the export much. We'll continue to experience this. But what we need, we go create the right food policies, we go create all the best policies in the world, it not go work if we are not producing. And that is why the government is also shifting massively his policy directive on agriculture. Because agriculture achievement will be able for help we so much for able for move from them conditions and the way they face. I think before they come IRE, we will not play the episode of Ministry of Agriculture. We don't get about, is it $4,000 or $4 million investment into poultry. If we ever forget a better factory and produce that better, then they also go able for help we for let we say go the same products and we go for
the
help
area of
in terms of
agriculture, not
dollarization.
so today it begin. Let's take you back to one
So-
state address where His Excellency be making a parliament 1 year. Also, I even challenge in government official them for go into farming. Let everybody ensure say establish a farm so that the area of importing rest from other country them it go reduce. So what happen with all the strategy then they where President B.O.B. they try for put in place? Is it that they not work?
And when we come with the economic diversification, first of all, the economy be almost done to go down to 46, done the decline to 46 point something percent. When we come, because we work assiduously with good policies, we're able for record growth by 5.3%. But because of the COVID, we begin experience decline in 2%. So also we try for make sure say we get more youths we get more youth for be trained in skill jobs. We get about 100,000 youths them where we train for get skill job, so that at least their services to the community will be useful and then go able for be competitive even when they no go school. what we all need for do as a government, and the things the way president don't do, it don't work out a lot. Now that make we even don't get an increase in enrollment of we picking them we want for go school. There is huge access, and at the same time we don't also create new tertiary institutions like the new 3 universities. Then we, of course, this government don't establish Nakono, as well as Eastern Polytech and Mitimagai. And we not just establish the universities and they will let Kono, not even get the infrastructure. As I speak to you now, the construction work is going on, as opposed to empty intentions where previous administrations express, where they say they go build Kono University. Go there today and see now the construction work is going on. And we don't come, even infrastructure projects the way we take, we don't make sure, say, instead of wasting too much of money with corruption, we don't make sure, say, they are all cost effective, and that we also transfer some of the leftover way people them for don't siphon into them pocket into some other development projects them we they do.
When you listen to the people then raise concern about the issue of transportation, according to them, is very expensive. Then they put more money into transportation, and also you talk about the availability of electricity, but the concern of the public now that it's very expensive for buy extra to pop. This plus other issues, them now one way people don't raise concern about as government, how we the work for ensure we want to address some of the issues there, so we affordability now a challenge for the people.
First of all, government don't try and best for make sure say we reduce taxes on essential commodities so they can in this country, like food, because that is very key. If government not be able to reduce taxes on food, so until we would talk about food price today, it would have been different. And government will continue for take taxes on a lot of other commodities, then government not be able to run itself. So the biggest problem we continue for raise about price increase, not just the difference between the dollar and that of Williams. And so, in as much as we know they export much, it's difficult for local able to address that, no matter which kind of sound policies we out. Now that make we feel say we therefore go back into the extractive industry for make sure say we improve on that one day, and we increase people and focus on going back for able to engage in investment in we own resource based than what we get. Precisely here, now that make the government able to achieve the focus of the public or the attention of the public for go back into agriculture. We don't get a lot of private investment into the agricultural sector. I will tell you, say, in the next 5 years, we will begin experience a lot of change and improvement in the economy and in the price variations we currently experience in this country.
Continue for the week inside the program. Lahai Leema, National Publicity Secretary for the Salon People's Party. Inside the program today, we look at living condition under President Bio in government. The program na Good Morning Salon, they come to you from 98.1 FM.
All right, so they can now to the other studio guest, Honorable Abdul Kargbo, representing the main opposition APC party. Honorable, where you talk about standard of living, it refer to the quality and quantity of materials, how the citizens them they able for access them and ensure say the access them and affordable for them. And we look at the earning power, considering to the minimum wage of Salon citizens them. You listen to within Lahai Leema don't make. According to the situation go only get better with Salon able for engage in large scale of producing things them we go make the country get enough money and the economy self go able for stable. In terms of accessibility, quality goods and affordable, what thing will be your take on that?
Firstly, let's just address within the minister in the sea.
You get 10 minutes, sir.
Yes, let's just address with him in the sea regarding how they don't help for pushing the burden on the people, the economic burden. They say because of them policies, then they don't help for pushing the burden. Me go say now, down there the reverse. People the women they pay transportation, ferry now 3,000, 4,000 women they pay. Where this government can, they increase the price of fuel from 6,000 to 21,500, which is very unimaginable. If you get sorry out for your people, you pay, you supplement. You say government they take some of the burden. So if government for take burden, na pa fuel force government for don't take the burden. Therefore, don't help for pay fuel. But then they increase on the cost of transportation. Now, if person they come on lungi, we midi, you want can free to, you spend close to the 50-60,000 leons for the APC 20,000 leons don't take you from Lungi to Freetown. You understand? So if they want cushion the burden, why they not give government make sure say they reduce the price of fuel? Water, where people and they drink na house without water, you know they live. Then double the cost of water rate. But understand the bread and butter where they talk about bread and butter where they talk about na 98.1. Bread now, 2,000 bread not again. If you see the bread now, in fact the size force now don't reduce, then the cost don't increase. You understand? Then also electricity charge. APC 10, I mean they pay 560 leon for 1 kilowatt hour. SLPP 10 now 1,400 leons for 1 kilowatt hour. See how they wicked though. And then go negotiate with the car power ship for let the car power ship reduce the cost with and they sell electricity to them. APC 10 women they buy electricity 19 cents. We then can then go they negotiate for 16 cents. So for 2 years then they save $18 million out of the agreement. So waiting and do then come back, then can add the price of electricity now the ordinary Sierra Leone and the aid. How you they help for cushion the burden? Data. When you they top up that ordinary school picking where something data it they use for make sure say it go na internet, it take information then they make sure say it study. Then man they increase data.
But honorable
skyrocketed
honorable quick one according to Lahai Lawrence Leema, then tax and then the need for run the states. You know agree with that?
When you they run the state, remember say you they run the state with the people at the center. Without the people there, you not get state. You know they punish the people there for run the state. And look, power when they get then tax, they are see the money where they lost. If not for run the state, just 1 year we get 187 billion we lost. You say now for run the state. Then quite apart from that, even to top up na your phone under the watch of the latter everything be happen. Where QCell come, then come with the intention say, then they come with top up price with 100 leons for minutes. Then get a law where should say 30% of each call where they make if for go to government. So QCell say, okay, 30% of 100 leons, na 30 leons, we go give to government. Then say no, QCell for pay 100 leons, how other company then they pay 100 leons. Now QCell say, okay, who they pay this 100 leons being? Then now we they make we price 200 leons for minute. Government again, NATCOM, tell QCell say, then get floor price. QCell not forever sell top up less than 500 leons. So QCell was forced to skyrocket the price. If you get people there at the center, one the way they vote for you, one the way make you get power, you do all them things. Then life is difficult deliberately because we get an inconsiderate government. We get government the way they put the people there at the center. Some of them think they are at the government they suffer for let the people they move. You see the minister they laugh because okay. And they tell and just say they buy fear. It just they go no more go park in motorcar. It just they go park in motorcar then top.
But Lahai Lawrence Leema just make mention say when they Leema just talk about the taxes the way they reduce, where they take up office.
Whose tax where they reduce? No tax no way they reduce. No tax. Let's say what they refer to. Sometimes you don't even understand the program where they classroom. Now the quick action response economic plan they call them QAP. Yes. Now immediate program. In fact, it get five arms. The minister says it in a government too, but not to offer with waiting they happen in government. It get 5 arms. You understand? And let tell you, waiting they inform government policy. Government policy now the outcome, how it get effect on the living of the people. Yeah. Then they all are tomaboom. The time when they talk about tomaboom, now that 10 they rest tower for go up. Waiting at the essence of tomaboom. If rest just they go up. You see? If you invest, there should be some returns. You see, the crop where they say they give money to the one the way they import rice, where they import some other goods, for make sure say they keep going. But how then they affect the prices? So to me, as he say, and he also say, APC, they trust money in a bank, they do this, just for 2001 alone, this government borrowed 21 billion leons in a bank. Let's read the annual statement of of the consolidated fund. Edisia. 21 billion. Now this government borrow. Just in 2001 alone.
2001, you mean?
Alone, just alone, 2001, the year, the
Okay.
financial year, 2001, 21 billion. Now this government was in a bank. Yeah. So this government don't make things very difficult. Government sometimes they now una the bear the economic burden. Ghana waiting and do where prices then go up, where things then very difficult. Then call all the ministers, all the government appointees then. They reduce 30% of their salary. And then say this law put on for people. The law try for subsidize for let things then go down. But yeah, I go tell you what and do. I go tell you what and do now. Yeah. Yeah. Let's tell you what and do. Office of the Chief Minister. In 2022, the wage bill, how much them in the give them for salary? Now 19.98 billion. But in 2023, as at the talk show, instead of the reduce and they increase to 22 billion, Office of the Chief Minister, Office of the President, in 2022, now 101.8 billion, they mean they receive a salary. But in 2023, as I speak now, 111.4 billion. Yeah? The law will go again also to Office of the Chief of Staff, when are the Chief Minister. APC term. You may get a lot of other organizations, them or other institutions that way under the Office of the Vice President. You may get the Office of the Chief Minister. You may get the ODA. You may get MCC. You may get PPP. You may get EITI. You may get APRM. They all lady, but still their salary now been 22 billion with 112 staff. Now they don't pull OD under the Office of the Chief Minister. It under the Foreign Affairs. MCC they under Vice President Office. PPP they under Vice President Office. But the money it remain the same day. Now the same salary then they receive. So we find out say the people then just care and center about themselves. How then they enrich themselves. How then and that woman they will get for dance for you, we get for sing under it. You understand? Now only now you care about her. Where election they come. We say we are in a Lungesi, then they try for make the generator for begin give you light this 2 months. After 5 years, when are 3 days or 4 days inside the month, then they give you light alternatively. You see? So then just one, now waiting now for the camera, just for elections.
Honorable, in all of these, let we say if now the APC, how na for don't do them?
Exactly. The APC, where APC been there na power. Electricity was one of our priority. What did we do? Even when we negotiation with the car power ship was 19 cents per kilowatt hour, we ensure say we give enough electricity in the city, and we ensure say we reduce them to 540 leons. 9 people let me they pay for 1 kilowatt hour. SLPP, even when they go negotiate, them make the arrangement for let them pay 16 cents, which is lower than what the APC mean they pay. Then can they increase them to 140. 1,400 leons. You understand? Then also, electricity. Me na Kafubulo Madi. Now they had to spend most of my time. Yeah? APC time. We mean they get 18 hours electricity. On daily basis. Not even on alternative days. On daily basis, 18 hours. This government said they no go buy fuel. They said they no go buy fuel. So we did then now, anytime you see electricity na Kafubulo. So then the month starts. 3 days inside the month, 4 days inside the month. Then they stop. Say go na blackout till they get. They say they no go buy. As if na free people and they get the electricity. Where people and they pay for them. You say. So this government not get the people at the only time you go see this government near people and away election come. Really? Yes, now where election come. Yeah. Now you go see them, they go yonder, then they go this, say we don't make this, we don't do this free, we don't do this free, we don't do this free. Una go they shape money. You see the video where then they shape money now, 20,000 to people there. Let them go they shape money. Right. But the people of Sierra Leone not ready for go outside we come out. All right. Because if we allow SLPP for continue, we not put them 2 elections, then law prepare for another suffering of 5 years.
All right, Honorable Abdul Kargbo, continue for the program. Or they come now to Thomas Dixon, when I a social commentator and a journalist. You don't listen to the politician, them, you don't make them point them, and the ordinary people them, we I believe say yourself now one pandemic because you're a citizen of Salone. Talk about the reality, the issues at hand. Talk about the amounts within the sell rest now, per month, even the basic thing there within the grown salon, they're expensive. In this kind of era, what do you think say government for do now for the ordinary citizen?
Well, I think government for be empathetic. government for able for cut down on in expenditure, government for able for going some certain things then. Even in UK, in terms of energy bills, when the Russia and Ukraine war, they affect them in terms of energy, the government come in bigly. But here, in the peak of COVID, government increase the electricity tariff, where we think say at that time, government for either maintain the electricity tariff or then for bear the burden. But that not be the case. But about diversification of the economy, where the two speakers then talk about. I think since independence, we don't talk about diversification of the economy, concentrating on agriculture and tourism. But over the years, that statement only remains statement and nothing. We will not see any improvement about that. Yes, we've suffered in terms of COVID, in terms of Russia and Ukraine war, and we see some form of government effort, like what the Honorable Minister mentioned, the QUAC. We provide about 500 billion for trader importers, about five categories of people, and also according to government-owned document, in terms of fuel. Government, they forgone in 2020, they said they forgone about 60.7 billion in terms of revenues to government. In 2021, they forgone about 248.9 billion. And electricity, yes, electricity don't improve on paper. But as Honorable say, we are yet to see the actual improvement of electricity. Even in Freetown here, we see of late where they get blackout, constant blackout, and you go to other places who say government, they say don't improve on electricity. And where a country wherein you have electricity, for example, in the capital, even the poor of the poor go able for sell cool water, sell ginger beer, and get something. In areas like Lunge, if electricity, the poor of the poor go able for do that kind of stuff then they and sell. But this is not happening. And when you look at the cost at which prices they go, they talk about the forex. I tell you, the dollar just the leon just they depreciate. It's like it's in a free fall from about 800,000 leons in 2018 to now we are talking about 2,080,000 leons, and which is very, very difficult for Sierra Leoneans. Imagine somebody maybe they pay $1,000, where at that time now be 8 million leons for a house. Now they pay something like 20 million leons for the same property. So this time they get a toll, even for business people, entrepreneurs, Sierra Leonean entrepreneurs, we rent shop. You go to Kargbo Street, most of the shop they now they close because people left. I say 1,000, not to say the dollar, the price increase, but the rate at which the leon they depreciate, they affect them business. Some of them they close, some of them they sack workers them because of the rate at which. And these are all the things where they say government for being empathetic. Wherein you have the Honorable mention about Ghana, where government cuts down on the salary, about 30% on the salaries of government ministers. I want to say Ghana's situation was a bit worse than we own, to the point that they to IMF now for let IMF bail them out. But in what we say they face there's similar situation. I want to see a situation where in government go forgo certain things, where in government go say we know they take this tax. You talk about the top up internet. I think we don't go up drastically. You know they blame the mobile companies then because exchange rates also don't go up. But when you watch at the sub-region, no other country, the way you go say don't increase top up or cost of internet. So that has nothing to do with global. It is either government, they no one for reduce the tax, so then they put the burden on the people. And as Iran say, where you have an empathetic government, an empathetic leadership, some of these things you they forgo, you they bear and let the people let benefit at the end of the day. So the situation very, very, very serious as we go into another election. We say we government need to be serious about diversification of the economy. We need to be serious about agriculture. If this Russian Ukraine war not land Africa and Sierra Leone anything, it's about agriculture. We have to be serious about it.
Now, agriculture for over the past years, them government in, government out, don't they put emphasis on agriculture. You think say that emphasis on the agriculture and investment in the agriculture, they reflect on the living condition of the people, especially in the area of bread and butter?
As I say in me remarks just now, some of their statements that we government they make just remain for big statements. And if you go now the Ministry of Agriculture, you follow the recent audit report, you see so many projects where they don't mishandle. Like for instance, the onion project, Nalungi, about 4 districts, they don't mismanage that project. You get the palm oil project. Palm oil, now you didn't produce some, but palm oil has risen from about 200,000 euros per batter in 2018 to something like 700,000 euros, which is a huge cost. And then we have a project, a 9.8 billion project on palm oil production in the Ministry of Agriculture, where don't mismanage according to audit reports. So you get, government can get them plan and they will mismanagement here and there. You have the Toma bomb. According to the audit report, the Toma bomb is nowhere to do. Toma bomb project is nowhere to go to. The Toma bomb project it just did no more as a project. Nothing they happen. So we want to see 4 years ago, this government don't talk about this Toma bomb, this and that, blah, blah, blah. We want to see some of these things, they actually manifest. We are in the people, the layman out there, go able for go to market, able for cook a good meal for in Pekin, for in family. The layman out there go able for eat very, very well. But as I speak now, the situation is they get worse each and every day. Right. And the people of Sierra Leone and all of us as a people, we need to come together and look at this kind of situation, because you get to look at the economic situation on the backdrop of the Russian-Ukraine war, on the backdrop of a pandemic.
All right, thank you very much, Thomas Dixon. We come back and the producer them just say for extend the time to 15 more minutes. Each one speaker gets 5 minutes for wrap up, as now just 15 minutes to get. Lahai Lawrence Leema, we look at the social contract now. You think say the SLPP government are able to keep the social contract to the people them and then for re-elect for another 5 years mandate?
Yes. Can they do them briefly in 1 minute for response to some of the things that we have to say now for play with the emotions of people. Me family, I just want to say, if this country, apart from President Ahmed Tijan Kaba, President Nkrumah been get very good intentions, but he not be able to take strong
5 minutes.
Yeah, strong control over some of the ministers them we actually make enable for achieve the good dreams that we get. So what thing happen where Abdul don't carry the play with the people emotions now? Now them pull subsidy and fail during the regime. Where we come, what President Bill do under in leadership, it makes sure say where prices of fuel go down, now the country, now the world, it makes sure say Sierra Leone experience the reduction of fuel price. Now that we they do as a serious government. We they talk about wage bill now. We're talking about wage bill. Before this time, we not get universities on with payroll. We don't take university on board on with payroll so that at least then go left for they go through the constraints that wouldn't they go through for focus, for key quality teachings or lectures to we school picking them or we university student them. And so this you experience say a get for add up to the wage bill. We don't create very meaningful new institutions them like the climate the environmental ministry. You need that type of ministry for make them able to articulate at levels at conference where the expected ranking of people for able for go there now ministers. And we need that kind of institution there. And that institution he helpful for able for help for regulate we environmental improvement. And so when you take them one and they on board is also very helpful. Some of the improvements or investment that we get now some of them embassies then where we don't create and the lobby within the create and that take for instance the Lunge International Airport. Because we establish embassy now places like Turkey, we're able to create a very good rapport where we don't get such development. Now, for the first time in decades, Sierra Leone not import seed rice for the first time. So what would they say? Because over time we not inject transparency into the agricultural sector, now we could not see improvement there. But with this administration in focus, it don't make sure say for the first time we're not able for import seed rice since 2021 to 2022. Now this we call serious government. So for the next 5 years, you go find out say we self go able for begin produce now we're able for take care of we. Increase rice production, We also don't try for increased rice production by 900,000 metric tons, where this don't even make no able for import seed rice. Now, in terms of coming for address the issue of the question we asked me, social contract. Now, we promise the people, let me say, on the manifesto commitment that we will improve or deepening the human capital development. And indeed, we don't see the improvement in the educational sector. Even as I talk, till date, transportation for them school bus them, now 1,000 leons for picking them. We don't see a situation now, Usai, areas that we then just feel in an opposition strong area. Even then development the government they bring for the picking there, then they burn the buses there. Then even decide not for user. But we not relent. We make sure say we do we best for reduce the burden on the people there. So if we don't take school fees from the people there, we also don't take school feeding, where if parents not able to produce lunch, but in Peking go able to eat and pay attention at class. And we don't make sure say we don't increase access to learning. And at the same time, Peking them, they pass the public exams than ever before, and in a very disciplined and proper rudimentary approach, wherein they get 3 Peking, they take exam and 1 question paper. We get the tendency for compromise exams rules. In governance, in governance approach today, the judiciary is more transparent than you think of in the days of the APC. The judiciary is open and it do in best for make sure say they speed up cases them, especially cases that way they get political ramification around them. They don't make sure say transparency don't they in the judgment of them cases and they will go bring satisfaction into the minds of the public.
Leema, you don't almost exhaust his time, but quick one for the listeners. Waiting at the message of hope in terms of all what we don't discuss.
The message of hope is that President Bio promised and he deliver and even go beyond the things the way he promised. Wow. In other words, the SLPP is a credible party and they get credible leadership as at now. So I believe say the hope what they give to the people, if you give President Bio the next 5 years, the SLPP the next 5 years, Sierra Leone, we all go experience, we go see the change just like we see them now.
Thank you very much, Lahai Lawrence Leema, Publicity Secretary for the Salone People's Party. Inside the program, they talk about President Bio in 5 years and living condition of the people. And we come to the other studio guest, quick one. Honorable Abdul Kargbo, the way forward. You get 5 minutes.
I expect the minister here to apologize to the people of this country for making life difficult for them. Instead, they say President Bio don't deliver, and he don't even go beyond his promise. So meaning they are even happy with the status of the country, the way the country they so. That shows the level of insensitivity to waiting the people of this country they face. And if the people are left there, the things go worse past the way they so. APC don't come, we don't perform, and people don't see what the APC capable for do.
He's talking about just talk about the deliverables then, the things that they don't do in 5 years. He make mention of the education, he make mention of the transportation where he say they now for school picking and not things say that tangible.
In the fight against corruption, the judiciary.
Leema, please allow exit.
This is the last minute. I will interject as we go along. Thomas no say they part of the rules.
The less you talk about transportation, the better it is. Now at the time you Khadija, even if you say picking they not they pay their school fees, then secondary school fee not be high. Sometimes now 25,000 leons for term. So 3 term now something like 75,000 leons. Then pay them for you. But then they pay 5 where they buy 1 bag rice. You they pay 6 where they pay transport for go up and down.
Assuming they pay fees back. Assuming they pay fees back.
Leema, please allow him.
On a left, they let them pay the fees. On a left, they let them pay the fees. On a left, they let them pay them fees. You understand? They let things difficult. You have made life more difficult for the ordinary Sierra Leonean.
Because you did not
to me, if Una want say, let them give Una other 5 years now, wickedness. Really? Because you don't concede say, Una no address the problems.
How do I be able to manage APC?
They even get information say they don't replace her.
Please, Mr. Minister,
they get information because the policies they always encourage with no work.
Really?
Then can they sell reserve in no work? Then can they go print new money, go waste beaucoup money, print new money in no work?
So how government they pay you months down?
They even tell you government they trust money. They even tell you say
you don't lack that credibility.
They even tell you say where you see where they are. I beg on admit time because they are work. On admit time, Mr. Minister, I get for patient. No, one thing we for do. No one let tell the people the truth. So they interject for let the people know waiting for it. He talk about subsidy. Now that they mean with problem between APC and IMF. Because even when IMF tell APC, say, before we give una money, una remove subsidy per fuel. APC tawa, we say no, they left us 6,000. But then go take 21,500 loans unimaginable. If even in the dream, then tell say if you vote for SLPP, you go buy fuel at 21,500 for saying a lie. You give them another opportunity. You give them another opportunity. You go buy fuel 40,000 loans in this country. So the people have not been able. If to me na a shame that you get military government in Guinea, you understand? We get proper physical management, then they control the economy well. To the extent that we get democratic government, we're not able. We're not able. They don't catch between. If you say we own people like do, this now an insult to we own people like
Please, Mr. Minister.
An insult to we own people like. Yes,
Please,
the
Mr.
people are very hardworking. Even the one where they sell lipamine, the person where they sell lipamine, you know when to make pamine they go up. Pamine now they produce.
I don't get constructive conversation.
Mr. Minister, give me time. Give me time.
Well, you don't exceed the 5 minutes. We're not getting enough time again.
Give me time.
No, please, Mr.
Give me time. Me not dey interject at all. I expect to listeners them. You know, you make pamine go up. Pamine now they produce am. Now then they do all the processing. But that way mean they produce the pamine. You understand? Now out of that pamine, now they go buy one bag rest. Now out of that pamine, now they go do things there. So now if you left the price of pamine down, you know they able buy one bag rest. You know they able pay transportation.
You don't almost go out of your time, but quick one. What's not the way forward?
The way forward now for pool SLPP. They not get the capacity. They have been in power for 5 years. They have not provided us with the alternative now APC. APC don't get power for 10 years. For 10 years. But now money they lost past them ever in this country.
Right.
3 years.
Thank you very
3
much.
years money we lost on the APC. SLPP now 1 year.
Thank you very much,
Yes.
Honorable Abdul Kargbo. Quickly.
I know pass you na APC na ACC go call you. If you know to APC, ACC will call you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Abdul Kargbo.
We always get the fight between the APC and the SLPP. And I think they keep on fighting whilst the people remain for the suffer. For me, I think important for let we look at we economy from across with a bipartisan view, from all party, all managing view about the economy, because the situation where the economy is so and the world economy, it is not easy. So you find for the world sit down and give your opinion, respect yourself going forward. Your question is about social contract. I think the social contract theory, they talk about government providing them or their manifesto to the people then buy them by voting for the government, and then in turn the government deliver. If you look at them, the manifesto of this government, there are some areas where they don't try, like free education, they don't provide them. Me no go. Me I can always refuse to put quality on the free education. So I can say free education. And but when you come to the economy, I think they are feeling woefully.
No, that's not true.
And there are areas also in terms of good governance. You talk about the removal of the 1965 public conduct for journalists, it was good. And you talk about the gender bill, I think it was good. These are good things. There are other areas where I think say they don't try to do well. If you look at MCC scorecards, you see some of the ratings are very high in some of the areas. And but what happened in August 10, Pademba Road prison break. These are things we shed light on how terrible the human rights situation in this country. So these are also things where they give the government a failing score. And if you also look at agriculture, we are not doing good in terms of agriculture. We are not doing good in terms of trade, where they affect the prices of goods in the market, where they affect the layman for able to live a life. So about the social contract, it's left with the people of Sierra Leone. I'm a journalist. I know the kind of can tell Sierra Leone and they say go vote for party A, go vote for party B. But you know your situation and you know how you feel.
Quick one, Thomas Dixon. You time almost done. But what do you think is the missing link in all of these? Where you did mention some of the challenges and successes. What are the missing link we need for be corrected?
Well, I think about diversification of the economy. I keep on going to it. We have to be serious about it. Okay. And not just get for be a statement. in the agenda for prosperity of the former government, they talk about diversification of the economy, but we say we economy just concentrated on the extractive, getting money from the extractive. So we are prime as net import economic driven nation. We need to move from that and begin for look about things, bringing industrialization. Begin for look at how we go get to agricultural products, produce them being exported out of Sierra Leone, how we go able for feed ourselves. We don't tell they talk about food sufficiency. Remember if you read Milty Magai in first speech as Prime Minister, he talked about diversification of the economy. So we know the problems. Since independent, we know the problems. And up till now, these problems are still there. So,
all right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Well, now they end the program. Good morning, Salon, for today on edition. At the studio, we get Lahai Leema, where they represent the ruling SLPP party. Honorable Abdul Kargbo, the main opposition party, winner the APC. And we get a journalist, winner a social commentator, winner Thomas Dixon. We end the program now. Michael Sambola and Alex Lawrence Kuman, and then produce the program. DJ Cliff give you technical support. Usman Kamai and him team, and they make una watch we live on Facebook page. Mina Khadija Bangwa, they wish you all a lovely day.
And Musa Kamari say bye-bye.